Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. Really excited to be here with you. Thanks for taking the time. Let's see. Great. All right. So who knows what the number 1440 represents? 1440. 1,440. Who knows? What's that? That's a good guess, but not true. So 1440, that's the number of minutes that there are in a day. We all have the same number of minutes in the day. You're going to spend the next 15 with me, and I'm really appreciative of that. What I'm going to do is just tell you a little bit about the journey that we've been on at the New York Times Games, a number of different journeys, actually, and then also talk about the connections and what we think is the power of our puzzles to bring people together. So first, a little bit about my own personal journey, so you know who you're listening to. I've been in the computer and video game industry for most of my career, really all of my career. I did start out in the theater. That was my first passion, directing plays, studying Shakespeare. Couldn't really get a job. Was also passionate about computers and video games. And spent about 10 years at Electronic Arts where I worked on The Sims, which was at the time the biggest PC game of all time. I went on to work on the Simpsons franchise at EA, which was the biggest animated TV show ever. At Zynga, I ran the Words with Friends team and helped launch new Words with Friends. We brought Farmville to mobile. And then for the last almost 3 years now, I've been at the New York Times and was really excited to join them as their new head of games. And when I got to the New York Times, I found like a really strong tradition around games that a lot of people don't know about. We built a very successful business around the crossword puzzle. This was our app icon that I found when I got there. And what I didn't know until recently is that 42 in the corner of that app icon is actually an Easter egg. And it refers to 1942, which is the year that the first crossword puzzle ran in a New York Times paper. There's a famous memo that you can see if you visit the New York Times office where the editor told the publisher of the paper, we're going to run the puzzle. This was 2 weeks after Pearl Harbor in what we would call today a very tough news cycle. And, it's been true ever since that our puzzles are really part of the experience, meant as a diversion from the news, a way to have smart fun, a way to keep your mind sharp, to bring joy to kind of your daily life. And, games is now an increasing part of the overall strategy at the New York Times, which is to be the essential subscription for curious people seeking to understand and engage with the world. Now, we've been on a number of journeys with the crossword puzzle. The first editor of the crossword puzzle was Margaret Farrar, who held the post till 1969. There were 2 editors after that, and then Will Shortz has had that post since 1993. Will is an American treasure. He reinvented the crossword puzzle and made it what it is today. He's surrounded by an incredible team of editors who bring these puzzles to our solvers every single day. And he'll be celebrating his 30th anniversary as our editor at the end of this year. Now, we've been on some other kinds of journeys. A key one is our transition from paper to digital. So after a successful online crossword puzzle launch, our first crossword app came out in 2009. And then not long after, we began to build a very successful subscription business alongside the news business, creating like a really powerful engagement habit with both news and games. And what's interesting about that for me is that there's sort of an orthogonal journey which started with a lot of different kinds of games in the paper edition, transitioning to like a sole focus on the crossword puzzle when we went digital, and now this year finally sort of getting back to the strategy, which is a portfolio of games. And this year we've completed our rebranding from New York Times Crossword to New York Times Games, updating the app icon, rebranding the app, and bringing a Sudoku puzzle, tiles, letterboxed, spelling bee, etc., into the games app. So this is a little bit of like what is old is new again. And of course, in 2022, last year, about a year and a half ago, our strategy was really propelled with the acquisition of Wordle, everybody's favorite daily word game. This was a huge moment for us. We're really pleased with the number of people that are still engaging with Wordle. Who's done their Wordle today? By a show of hands. Yep. It's been an incredible funnel into our other products and actually into all that the New York Times has to offer. It's actually a big part of my own personal journey, as well as I found myself being interviewed by CNN during the Wordle hype machine, and kind of getting like the stink eye from Brianna Keller there. I'm not sure why that was, but it was wild, and we're really happy with Wordle today. So by a lot of different measures, we're seeing a ton of success with the strategy of games and news and the portfolio of games. With the rebrand of our app from COVID to the Wordle acquisition to this year, we're just seeing a really great increase in our daily downloads of the app. Our subscriptions are up, engagement is up, and particularly those users who are engaging with both news and games on a given week have the strongest subscriber retention profile of anyone in our audience mix. Okay, so that's a little bit about us and the journey we've been on. I'm going to talk about 3 different kinds of connections and why I think our puzzles are resonating and our product is resonating and working. Inside a games industry that is often a red ocean and full of lots of different choices for users. So for us, it starts with our connections to our solvers and our users. We have, as I mentioned, a team of editors, and what we do that's truly unique, especially in this sort of AI-powered era that we're in, is we make human-made puzzles every single day for you to solve. And there's a relationship between the solver and the constructor of the puzzle, and it fits into your daily life, and you solve it, and you put it down, and you come back the next day. And we set really high standards for kind of relevance and wit, and put a lot of love and care into these puzzles, and that's what makes us unique. So Sam Mazursky, this is one example. He's the editor of the Spelling Bee, which is a daily word-finding game. And Sam is really engaged with this community. It's called the Hive Mind. Every day they're pushing him on why he included a word or didn't include a word. Every day he's on Twitter engaging with that community. And that relationship between us and them is really one of the things that makes our product special. And we invest in that. We have an editorial team that's writing stories every day about our games, tips and tricks, how to become a better solver. We create forums and spaces for people to come together. We have a weekly newsletter that goes out. It has a handwritten topper from our editorial team, and it sort of introduces everybody to the people behind the puzzles. With our Spelling Bee forum, every day we ship it out with a photograph of a real bee, and those photographs are sourced from our community. So if you're a Spelling Bee fan in the audience, please submit a photo of a bee. This could be yours. And so that connection between us and our users is really important and an important part of our success. But I think even more important is really the connection between our solvers, our users, and each other. And this is really when I talk about the power of puzzles to bring people together. That's what we're seeing. This is one of many, many stories that we get all the time, and I love this in particular, where one of our users was engaged with the community, and he told the story of his wife who was diagnosed with cancer, and how this community and this game really sort of brought him some sense of normalcy through a really difficult time. I'm happy to say that, as far as we know, this story has had a positive ending. This person actually pulled out of the community when his wife recovered. But what was amazing about this is he's not thanking us at the New York Times. He's thanking all the members of the community that he was with day in and day out during this difficult time. And you can see how well the community responds to this. I think Bill Gates said it really well. I was amazed by this. Last year, he posted a whole blog about his Wordle obsession with all of his strategies and starting words. Unlike some time seeks, Wordle and other puzzles are a great way to stay connected with people because they're the same for everyone. And, it's kind of obvious, but that is what makes Wordle so great and so shareable, is we're all trying to solve that same word together. This is an incredible story of how Wordle may have actually saved this grandmother's life. She was kidnapped by a deranged person at knife point, and her daughter realized that she hadn't posted her Wordle score for that day and became very concerned about her. And because of that, was able to react very quickly. And they rescued this woman, no harm done. And it just goes to show kind of the power of this game to bring people together every single day, no matter where they live. These are screenshots from my personal Wordle chat group. And you might look at that and go, that's like a marketing creative agency made these screenshots for a TV commercial, but these are like real chats. And this is how I found out that my friend Laura had a kidney stone, because her 98-day Wordle streak was interrupted. And that's really what it is about Wordle. I mean, of course, it's a really good game. It's a really well-done word-finding game. But it's that share moment where you're able to reach out every single day and just make a connection with people. You know, we don't agree on a lot in this world often, and this is something that everybody can sort of agree on, and it brings them together with friends and family and just reminds each other that we have something in common at a time when we all really need that. Okay, so that's a little bit about the power of our games to bring people together. And now my final story about connections is actually going to be a live solve of one of our new games. So people always ask, what's coming next from the New York Times? We have an incredibly talented team that's working every day to prototype new ideas. We beta test new games on sort of web-only, web-first, open to the general public to see if people fall in love with it, if it's engaging, if it's retaining well, and then if we decide to sort of get behind a game, we'll bring it to the apps and all of that. So right now, I'm excited to share that under 2 weeks ago, so it's only been out for less than 2 weeks, is a new game. It's called Connections. You might get the theme there. And it's a word association game. So I thought it would be fun if we all played it together. I think I need a couple people to come up and join me. I think, can you come up? All right, round of applause for our solvers. Now I'm gonna plug my phone in so that we can all play together. Feel free to shout out the answers. So Connections is a word association game. So gather around. You're both going to just share the phone. So the goal is to create 4 groups of 4. There's a one precise solution. You're looking for common meanings between 4 words. You select the 4. If you think you've got them right, hit submit, and you only can make 4 mistakes. All right, well done. There's one. Organs. Well done. Hats. Seems easy at first. It can be a little tricky. Well done. And the last 4. There you go. All right, well done. Give it up for our solvers. Thank you. Well done. All right, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about New York Times games. Congratulations on making it to the end of the day. You did it.